Hi Ben, I've just put this video together to show you how this Excel document works and how it links with Google Forms. So firstly, I've put the names and their ID numbers over on this column here. We've got your AT6 class and AT4 down the bottom. What's important is if you can link or get the students to put their ID number here in their project file, so when the students mark each other, they can easily see which number they're marking. This number was just based off the last numbers of their Sure ID. Now if we go back up to the top here and we'll press submit another response, this is the form that you edited. Everything's pretty straightforward. Just quickly give you an example. To put in the ID number, the student will put in the ID, for example 38. For a teacher it's 0. So we'll go next. Then you put in the project you're marking, for example 543, and then the students will go through and mark this. Quickly submit that. Now that submission will automatically populate in this document. You won't have to know this, but in the response page, this is where all those form responses end up. So back to the summary page. There's a few little tricks that you can do with this document. For example, you can change the teacher weighting for each mark. So that says it's 70% teacher weighting and the students are an average of the 30% remaining. You can change that to whatever you want, and you can see it changes numbers down here depending on that. That's just the teacher ID. Now the experience here, 2000, I've just put that in to see how the students relate with that. And that experience there, which is over here, is a percentage of that 2000. For example, if the student marked really well, they got 85% of that 2000, therefore it was 1366. Now I've also put a level here, so these levels correspond with what experience they're at. Now that's just a test, we can see how that goes. Below that, I've got minimum projects marked, so you can specify how many projects you want them to mark. You might say 2 or 3. And then you can also specify, if they mark more than that, what is the bonus experience they can get of that 2000. So you might say 10% extra. And you can see those are automatically changing. They're sort of the things you can adjust. Everything else will just calculate automatically. And you can see we've got the personal mark of the student, the teacher mark, the final mark. Shows the student's analytical percentage. Now that one's off because I was just playing with numbers, and then the experience they gained for that. Now you might be wondering why these ones have an error. That's just because the data hasn't been filled in for that. I just populated these two students just to see if all the formulas are correct. Now if we go back down to the bottom here, we have breakdown. Now breakdown just breaks down the average for each question, and that might be useful for the student on reflection. It also has the total average and then the analytical percentage there. If we go down to calculations, now you won't need to know this is just the brains behind the Excel document, and this is what automatically calculates that summary. Now the experience over here is just what I was talking about before. It just has the experience corresponding with the level, and that will automatically update here depending on the experience gained here. Hope that helps.